Commander Raxon stared at the holographic display, his four eyes blinking in rapid succession. The signal pulsed again, defying every prediction his science team had made. As the Supreme Commander of the Carrion Empire's 7th Exploratory Fleet, Raxon had seen his share of anomalies. But this was different. "Run it again," he ordered, his scaled fingers drumming against the crystalline surface of his command chair. The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances, their bioluminescent patches flickering with anxiety. The signal repeated, strong, clear, and unmistakably artificial, coming from a planet that by all rights should have been dead. A Category 12 death world, with crushing gravity, lethal atmospheric pressure, and enough solar radiation to cook most species alive. "Commander." Lieutenant Zena called out, her voice trembling slightly. "The signal. It's not just random emissions. They're broadcasting entertainment, music, stories, advertisements for something called car insurance." She paused, confusion evident in her tone. "They're calling their planet Earth." Raxon suppressed a laugh. "Entertainment? On a Category 12? Impossible." His people, the mighty Carrions, were among the galaxy's premier death worlders, their homeworld with its dense atmosphere and 3 standard gravity had forged them into one of the most physically imposing species in known space. Even they wouldn't survive on a Category 12 for more than a few minutes. "Bring up the planetary data again," he commanded, rising from his chair to pace the bridge. His heavy footsteps echoed against the metallic floor, each step a reminder of his species' power. "Show me everything." The holographic display shifted, presenting a blue-green marble suspended in the void. Statistics scrolled past gravity 1, 0G, impossible. Oxygen, nitrogen, atmosphere lethal to most species. Temperature variations -50 to 50 deg-Shi. Absolutely ridiculous. "Go back to the atmospheric composition," he ordered. 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% trace gases. Zena readout. "Sir, these readings suggest it's inhabited by bacteria," perhaps Raxon scoffed, "or simple multicellular organisms at most. Nothing sapient could evolve in such conditions." He gestured at the display with one clawed hand. "Look at the solar radiation levels alone. Any species trying to develop there would be cooked alive before they could make basic tools." First Officer Karras cleared his throat, his neck frills extending slightly in embarrassment. "Sir, about that. We're picking up artificial satellites, thousands of them, and cities. Global communication networks, evidence of primitive space travel." Raxon froze mid-step. The bridge fell silent, save for the constant hum of the ship's engines. In his 20 cycles of service, he'd never encountered anything like this. The Carrions, along with the other Death Worlder species, the crystalline Vexor, the massive juggernaut Kroll, and the predatory Nexar, had always assumed they were alone in their capability to survive harsh conditions. "Sir?" Zena interrupted his thoughts. "Incoming transmission. They've spotted us." "Impossible," Raxon muttered. But even as he said it, he knew he was wrong. The evidence was right there, mocking every assumption he'd ever held about the galaxy's natural order. Put it through. The holographic display flickered, and a face appeared, a bipedal creature, soft-skinned, with only 2 eyes and no visible natural defenses. It smiled, showing flat, herbivore-like teeth. "This is Captain Sandra Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We've been tracking your vessel since you entered our solar system. Welcome to Earth." Raxon's translator must have been malfunctioning. This fragile-looking creature couldn't possibly be speaking from the surface of a Category 12 death world. Yet here they were, casual as could be, extending greetings as if they weren't standing in an environment that should be liquefying their organs. "This is Commander Raxon of the Carrion Empire's 7th Exploratory Fleet," he responded, trying to maintain his composure. "We were not expecting to find sapient life in this system." Captain Chen's smile widened. "Yes, we get that a lot. Would you like to come down for a visit? The weather's lovely this time of year. Only 35 deg-Shi and 80% humidity. Perfect for a garden party." Raxon's secondary heart nearly stopped. They considered that lovely weather? He glanced at his environmental officer, who was already shaking his head in disbelief. The readings were clear. Stepping onto that planet's surface would be suicide for any of his crew. I regret that our environmental requirements make such a visit impossible, Raxon managed to say diplomatically. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting on our vessel. Oh, of course. Captain Chen nodded understandingly. We'll send up a delegation. Just one question, what's your standard atmospheric pressure? We'll need to know what suits to bring. 2. 3 atmospheres, Raxon replied automatically, then added with concern, your species can survive pressure changes of that magnitude. Oh, that's nothing. Chen waved dismissively. We've got deep-sea researchers who work at pressures 50 times that. We'll be up in an hour. As the transmission ended, Raxon slowly sank back into his command chair. 50 times standard pressure? Deep-sea research. He looked around at his stunned bridge crew, their expressions matching his own disbelief. Send word to the Death Worlder Council, he ordered quietly. Tell them we need to re-evaluate our definition of a death world. And someone get me a drink. A strong one. As his crew rushed to comply, Raxon continued staring at the image of Earth rotating serenely in space. The Carians had always prided themselves on being among the galaxy's toughest species. Now, for the first time in his life, he felt like a soft worlder. Somewhere on that horrific planet, these humans were preparing to visit his ship, probably thinking about what snacks to bring along. Raxon had a feeling the galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place. The Death Worlder Council convened in an emergency session within hours of Raxon's report. The crystalline walls of the Grand Chamber reflected scattered rainbows as representatives of the Vexor, Juggernaut, Nexar, and Carian species gathered. High Councillor Vex, her faceted crystalline form catching the light, opened the meeting with a resonating declaration. The data is conclusive, Vex announced. We are not alone in our evolutionary advantages. The humans of Earth challenge everything we believed about the natural order. Supreme Commander Kroll of the Juggernaut Collective snorted, his massive frame shifting in his reinforced chair. Impossible. Look at them, soft-skinned, no armor, no claws. Prey species who got lucky with technology. Commander Raxon stepped forward, his scaled demeanor still shaken. They live in conditions that would kill any of us within minutes, he countered. Their world's temperature swings would shatter your bones, Kroll, and they call it weather. They complain that it makes their hair frizzy. Hunter Prime Tal of the Nexar leaned forward, her predatory eyes narrowing. Preliminary analysis suggests they are apex predators despite their appearance. They persist in hunting, even with abundant food supplies. They chase prey to exhaustion. They do what? Kroll's 4 eyes blinked in disbelief. Persistence hunting, Tal explained. They outlast stronger species through sheer endurance. The display shifted, showing humans thriving in Arctic tundras, scorching deserts and ocean depths. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. High Councillor Vex finally spoke, her crystalline form rippling with decision. We must send a delegation. Understand these humans better. Their potential changes the galaxy's balance of power. As murmurs of agreement filled the chamber, Raxon made a private resolution: if humanity's audacity could reshape the galaxy, he would make sure he was ready for the chaos to come. The delegation arrived aboard Raxon's vessel, a mixed team of the galaxy's most formidable Death Worlders. Tension filled the air as they awaited the humans' arrival. When the Earth delegation docked, however, they emerged not as the galaxy's most resilient Death Worlders expected, but as something entirely unexpected. Leading the group was Captain Sandra Chen, accompanied by a man in a simple uniform holding a tray. We brought refreshments, she announced, her smile wide. The tray held cups of steaming liquid. This is coffee, Chen explained, handing a cup to Raxon. It's great for staying alert, helps with space lag. Raxon hesitantly took a sip. The bitter, scalding liquid sent his primary heart racing. He stared at the cup, bewildered. Humans ingested this willingly. He glanced at his team, who were clearly as stunned as he was. You voluntarily consume this? Asked Tal, her predator eyes narrowing suspiciously. Oh, yes, Chen replied. It's great for focus. We'll bring some for the meeting. Anyway, shall we get started? Raxon led them toward the meeting chamber, his thoughts racing. Humans weren't just defying expectations. They were redefining survival. Their casual hospitality had already shocked the delegation. And he suspected their adaptability was only beginning to reveal itself. He sent one more private note: prepare for recalibrating council thresholds. The shock was only beginning.